Welcome everyone to Gunning to Old Trafford Fantasy Premier League Edition. You with your host Mohammed Faried Chothia. Guys, let's get into it. Uh, Game week 23 was a bit of a shocker for a lot of people, especially after Arsenal losing to Man City and no one expecting Haaland to actually score any decent points. But yeah, a fun one. Let's go into it and see what happened this week. Guys, if you go onto the Fantasy Premier League website and you come across like these articles are quite cool to read. FPL experts articles, especially the experts articles are quite good to read. This one they're talking about best differentials for game week 24. Let's go into it. Hey, by the way, yes, it's game week 24, not game week 23. Game week 23 didn't go well. We're going into game week 24. So you can see these are actually the guys that are doing extremely well in FPL and tend to do very well in FPL every year. Uh, they usually give you guys some tips, and you can follow them on Twitter. I think it is takes you to Twitter. We're gonna click on it, but I think it takes you to Twitter, and you can follow them on Twitter if you want more updates from those particular people. But let's get into Fantasy League. Let's go into pick team, which I have not done as yet. So we're going to do this again live. I think it was quite fun last week. But let's go into a little bit of the stats. And I think first let's start off with the points for game week 23. Ended up on 63 points, which was a lot less than what I was expecting. I think the biggest mistake I made was leaving Shaw on the bench. But then again, I think a lot of people did. No one was expecting, Shaw to maybe score well, expecting United to maybe concede a goal, and that is why it didn't actually work out that great for anyone that benched Shaw. But I guess we live and we learn, right? Sorry, guys, I got a little bit of a flu as well. So let's go. So, Kepa, 2 points, no clean sheet. Kind of expected in the game that he had. And if I remember correctly, yes, it was. It was West Ham. 1-1 draw. Uh, Chelsea not playing that great, even though they've spent all that money. And for me, it's not a shocker because I said it. I did say that us Chelsea wouldn't play that great. It would take a long time for their team to gel. And even though Potter spent those couple of days, I don't know where it was, trying to get the team to get to know each other better, I don't think it's actually worked. And I don't see Chelsea gelling as a team completely until next season. They're going to probably get some wins. I think they still have an outside chance of making it into Europe. And the same goes for Liverpool, right, guys? We're not going to count them out. But here we go. Uh, Trippier, 2 points. Unexpected. That was one of the unexpected ones for me. Ben White with 3 points, and Ben White not starting against City was a bit of a shocker for me. So we definitely lost points there. Um, Ake is my doubt. I think he's now either going to be transferred out, and I don't know when, but I'm going to think about that. I might let my transfer roll. I just need to think. I think I had two transfers last week and I used both, so I only probably have one this week, if I remember correctly. Yes, I only have one this week. I made two transfers last week. Saliba, generally quite solid. Rashford as captain. At the time, seemed like a great idea. I still think Rashford is going to be a great captain. One of the three top picks for this week, I think, and the top three are Kane, Rashford, Haaland. 3, 2, 1. So one being Haaland being the top choice for captain with the game against Forest, I think. Bruno, 3 points, and the week I decide to bring him in, he does absolutely nothing. Martinelli with 5 points, which is okay. Um, I still think I'm probably gonna go Martinelli, to Saka or Odegaard, and Bruno to Bruno probably to Saka or Odegaard as well. So I'm gonna get rid of Martinelli and Fernandes and bring in Saka and Odegaard. So I still have three Arsenal players in the team. Um, I don't know if I'm ready to bring Salah back in. Game week 25, I think, is the game to bring him in. Um, but that means I need to either drop Kane. I do. I probably do need to drop Kane. We'll check that up now when we get to the points again. Mares crack over week 14 points. I wish I had captained him. It would have been 28 points. Some people using their triple captain last week, which I didn't do, and I think I'm going to use my triple captain in week 25, which is next week. I think I'm 90% set on that. Haaland with 10 points, Kane with 2, Wilson 0, which was a good thing, so I'm happy he was on the bench, but he kind of screwed me over. If anyone, you would have screwed me over if one of my players didn't play because he was in first position there. Andreas 6 points, Shaw on 12, sitting on the bench. So I've got 18 points sitting on my bench. I could potentially have dropped Bruno and brought in Andreas and gotten 3 extra points. Shaw for maybe a White or Saliba, even a Trippier, and then I would have had 10 extra points there. So 13 points would have put me on 76. Uh, Arrows, all red, which is just getting worse every week. Every single week. Getting to Old Trafford down to 20th. Sad, but we'll get there. I think this week and game week 25, game week 28 is when we're going to make some good changes and hopefully we score some good points. So let's get into it for this week. What are we going to go? Where are we going to go? I think Kepa's pretty solid in goal. Game against Southampton, and I'll probably stick with Kepa. I'm not going to go for an expensive keeper because I need the money elsewhere. I really do. I just want to actually check something. Let's check on transfers quickly. I've got one free transfer and I've got zero point 0.8 in the bank. Salah is 12.6. So I can get to Salah if I get rid of Haaland or Kane. It'll probably be Kane to bring in Salah. Mm. And if I have Fernandes to Saka, I get back 1.7. No, yeah, 1.7. 1.6. Odegaard for Martinelli. So I'm going to basically be sitting with one. With one at the end, which is where I was probably 2 weeks ago. So I'm going to let my transfer roll this week. Don't need to make any changes, I think, for now. I do want to do the Martinelli to Saka or Martinelli to Odegaard, but do I need to do it this week? I probably keep Martinelli and go Fernandes to Odegaard. Or Fernandes to Saka. Saka's the more expensive one. That's the thing. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Odegaard. Probably Fernandes to Odegaard. Keep the 2.9 in the bank. And then decide from there next week. Maybe Salah. And I could keep the team like this for this week. It doesn't really make a difference. But if I really want to use my transfer this week, I'll go probably Fernandes to Odegaard. But I don't think I'm gonna do that. Let's let it roll. Maybe Fernandes does something this week. Let's see what happens. I'll take the gamble. Otherwise, I'll just bench him. So Villa away for Arsenal. I think after Tomiyasu's performance on Wednesday night against City, I think Ben White pretty much back in the team, and I don't think he has any injury concerns. No, he doesn't. So I think he pretty much gets back into the team. Trippier against Liverpool is a tricky one, but I'm dropping Saliba for sure. Let's put Saliba there. And guys, I just need to remember to save my team. because I generally, while I'm on stream with you guys or recording with you guys, then I tend to click save. I forget to click save, and then the next morning when I'm going to go and check up on my team, just to make sure. And guys, always do that. Deadline is tomorrow at 1. Yes, tomorrow at 1. So I always in the morning go 2 hours before. I go and I check my team just to make sure I've got the right team. Sometimes I forget, but most weeks I do remember. Make that a habit as well. So even though you make changes on a Friday after all the press conferences, and guys, I haven't watched any of them, so I'm gonna do that a little bit later, and then I'll probably make some changes tonight. But I doubt it's gonna do anything unless I hear of a major injury, and then I'll probably post a quick YouTube short or something on Instagram or something on Twitter. So I'll get EB to post my links down in the comment section or down in the description section, just so that you guys have my Twitter and my Instagram if I do post any changes or last minute changes. Let's go. I'm Lester Fernandez. Look, I don't think Fernandez is going to score, but some. He might get something. Maybe he gets an assist. Andreas against Brighton, tough game. Don't think he does much. So I probably stick with the team the way it is. Keep Rashford. Here's the thing. Do we go with Rashford as captain? Rashford's just been very consistent the last couple of game weeks against Leicester. Leicester's gonna be a bit of a tight game. They should win. I don't see them not winning. Uh, at worst, they get a draw. I don't see them losing. That's for sure. But City against Forest is probably a nail down win. And does Haaland get points against Forest? More points than Rashford. That is a tough one to think about. So here's my thinking. And guys, I always think about things like this way, right? So you can watch all the FPL videos, and at the end of the day, I think you also should be smart enough to make your own decisions. Yes, follow what the experts say, because obviously they've been doing this a lot longer than most of us have. But at the same time, if you have a hunch, sometimes I feel it's good to go with your hunch. If you really have you have this little, you know, warm feeling in your tummy saying that you should go a certain way. Sometimes it's good to follow your instincts. Instincts are generally a good thing, I think. But that's just me, and I'm thinking, let's go, let's go Haaland. Let's go Haaland captain. Let's go Rashford as vice, and then let's keep the team the way it is. Saliba. Do I want to go five defenders? No, actually I don't. Don't want to go five defenders. So I'd rather go Andreas to come on if one of my players, for some strange reason, don't play. Then Andreas comes in. So we either, if one of the defenders fall out, we go a 3-5-2. If one of the midfielders go out, we go a 4-4-2 still, because it would just one off, one on. And that's probably it. Guys, game week 25, and I want to actually, we won't be able to look at it, but game week 25 coming up is going to be both a blank game week as well as a double game week. Now, I won't go into too much detail on that right now. It's not important right now. But next week's video is going to be a little bit longer. And I think we'll try and release it a little bit earlier. Even if it comes out before press conferences on Friday, what I would suggest then, like I said, myself or Tadi or Ibi or Shady, one of the four of us, follow us on socials, and we will post updates there if there's any huge injuries or any huge concerns that come up before the game week. But we'll go into a little bit more detail around it on Thursday. I think we'll probably record and release the video on Thursday night so that everyone has enough time to watch the videos. and you have no reason not to capitalize on game week 25. Same goes for game week 28. And I think any game week that has a double game week or does have a blank in it, we'll have a little bit of a longer video so we can go into it in a little bit more detail. This week is not much, guys, right? It's pretty much a quiet week. If you don't have Liverpool assets, you're gonna need to get some in, maybe one or two next week. I don't think going with three is a good idea. We could potentially. Liverpool had a great game against Everton, but that is just because purely it's was the derby game, I think, and obviously it's really just playing for pride there, and they came out of the blocks running and managed to control the game and they won. Does it continue in this week? We'll see against Newcastle, but next week we never know. So we need to start getting in some assets in, but let's see what happens. We'll make a decision after the Newcastle game, and I think they could potentially beat Newcastle. They generally have a good record against Newcastle. Eddie Howe's differential for Newcastle, if you want to say that, FPL term differential for Newcastle, and it's a huge differential for Newcastle because Eddie Howe is an amazing manager and someone that gets his tactics right most weeks. And Newcastle, on the form that they're in at the moment, are going to probably cause Liverpool a whole lot of problems. But if Liverpool come out and play the way they played against Everton, they have a chance. If they come out and play anywhere close to the way they were playing last season, at their peak when they were chasing down City, Newcastle could be swept aside, and Liverpool could go ahead and win that maybe easily 1 or 2 nil. But I doubt it. I think Newcastle's going to give them a tough game. I'd be happy with a draw. But FPL terms, I got no Liverpool assets, so I couldn't care less. So let's take it from there. So guys, I think that's me. I don't think I'm gonna make my transfer. I'm gonna let my transfer roll till next week, and then we'll take it from there. Um, and guys, have a great one. Happy Friday. Have an amazing weekend. Hopefully, all your arrows are green next week when we meet up again. And let's have uh, let's have a good one. See you guys soon.